ChatGPT and Claude are both brilliant, but they don't feel the same, and which one's right for you completely depends on what you're actually doing with it. So instead of just telling you, I'm going to show you with the same prompts on both tools side by side, and we'll put them head to head in 3 categories: writing, coding, and the big one, connecting to the third-party apps that you already use. And to keep it real, I'm going to use a made-up small business called Sunnyside Coffee as the example throughout. So by the end, you'll know exactly which of these tools fit your workflow. If you want to jump to a specific section, you can use the chapters in the description. Let's dive in. We're going to start with writing and with one of the most simple things that AI could help you with, which is writing some social post captions. And I'm using the free version of both ChatGPT and Claude today so we can see them side by side. Here's the prompt: write a short Instagram caption for Sunnyside Coffee announcing a new oat milk maple latte, friendly, not salesy. I'm going to submit this prompt on both of the tools here, and we'll see what they come up with side by side to decide which best suits the brand. Let's take a look then. We can see that ChatGPT has said, meet our new oat milk maple latte. It's included a couple of emojis: smooth espresso, creamy oat milk, and just a touch of maple sweetness. And this is pretty good considering I've really given it not enough context to do this. If you were writing a prompt for this, you would want to give it some of the details about the drink. I've just thrown this out there to get an example of the writing style. And on the right-hand side, Claude, you can see, has gone for something a bit more concise. Weirdly, it's included a title which wouldn't be needed in a caption and says, meet your new morning ritual. Our oat milk maple latte is here, cozy, creamy, and just the right amount of sweet. Nice, so it's not made up too many of the details about the drink itself. For me here, I would probably choose ChatGPT's version. I also like that it's given me a prompt to maybe make changes if I wanted to as well. But let's take this a bit further and try something more difficult. I want to send an email out to customers about some change in opening times, and I've just got a few notes that I wrote. I'm going to give those to ChatGPT and Claude and see if it can write a draft for me. To make this clearer, I'm going to start a new chat in both Claude and ChatGPT here and put it in this prompt, which says our opening hours are changing from 7 to 7 to 7 till 5. Write an email to customers informing them of the change. I'm going to submit this prompt on each one as well, and let's look at the writing this time. ChatGPT answered more quickly. Let's see what we've got. It's got the subject line for the email: important update to opening hours. Dear valued customer, we would like to let you know about an upcoming change. This feels pretty formal to me. We appreciate your understanding. Maybe something that I would actually send internally in a business. Let's have a look at Claude's on the right-hand side. We wanted to let you know that our opening hours are changing from this date. We'll be open from here Monday to, and then I choose a day from 7 till 5. Our hours remain the same, so you can still reach us bright and early. I think this one feels a bit more friendly, so I would probably choose Claude in this instance. But again, the writing style of both of these tools could be changed based on the context that you provide. So if you've got some brand guidelines for the way that your brand writes, you could put them into the prompt that you give to either Claude or ChatGPT to hopefully get something that requires less editing. Because right now, both of these, I would need to make a few edits, but I do quite like that Claude has included a few more of those placeholders that I would need to change to make that edit a bit more clear and easy. For our final writing task, let's try something a bit longer. Again, I'm going to create a new chat in both of these to start with a fresh slate. And let's imagine I'm creating some content for the website to help improve SEO and get more people visiting and learning about the products we have to offer. So I have a prompt here that says, write a 150-word blog intro about why we switched to locally roasted beans. I'm going to send that prompt in both of these tools, and then we can see the outputs side by side. So here are the responses. 150-word blog intro from ChatGPT. At our coffee shop, every cup tells a story. For years, we carefully sourced quality beans from trusted suppliers, but we knew there was an opportunity to bring even more freshness, flavor, and community connection. I think this is a really nice, warm opening based on a very simple prompt that I put in here. And on Claude here, we've got, for years, we did what most people do: grabbed whatever bag looked good on the supermarket shelf, brewed a pot and called it a coffee. It tasted fine, unremarkable, but fine. Then we tried beans roasted. Both of them are pretty similar here. They've kind of lent into story. Again, Claude tends to be a bit more concise, I find, but over time, I find that its writing maybe feels a bit more natural and warm. Though in these examples we've seen today, ChatGPT has held its own here and has included a good amount of detail. So I wouldn't call either of these better than one or the other in writing. I think it really comes down to the kind of style that you prefer. I think ChatGPT leans a bit more fluffy, Claude leans a bit more concise. But there is a place for both of those things depending on what you want. Whilst writing is helpful if you've got a lot of content to create for your website, or you don't trust your own writing when you're trying to email customers, or putting proposals together if you're in a different kind of business, one of the strengths of both ChatGPT and Claude is actually in coding. Now, both of them have options for coding specifically. For ChatGPT, there is a new tool called Codex that you would need to download to your Mac. And for Claude, Claude Code is available on paid plans. But both of them can still write some basic HTML in a normal chat window on the free version. So let's give that a go. In this prompt, I'm asking them both to create a mock-up of a new single-page website for my business, Sunnyside Coffee, and I'm telling it that it's an independent coffee shop that uses locally roasted beans. So I'm going to submit this prompt in both of them, and let's see what we get back. What I'm hoping for is something relatively visual, but quite simple, that's a single-page site that could be used for a coffee shop like this, to at least get started or send to a designer for further work to actually build this out as a site. They're both done, so let's have a look at ChatGPT first. For this, I'm actually going to separate these views so that we can see them all in a full screen. And ChatGPT has actually created an image, which I did ask for a mock-up. I didn't specify whether I wanted an interactive mock-up or not. It makes sense. And the image looks pretty good. It does look like a website. It's included an image in a hero here. The layout looks like as I'd expect. I like the colors that it's used. I think they fit the brand and so on. But it would have been helpful to make this kind of more interactive so that I can click through. But this would be enough to send to a designer to actually create a site from. Let's switch over to Claude then. And Claude has actually created a HTML mock-up here, and I can scroll down to have a look at the whole thing. So we've got this header here, small batch, single origin. It's even created a kind of graphic over here as well, a link out to the menu and our story. And scroll further down, there's more info about the story there. It has leaned into the single page. It's got the menu here, more information about the from farm to cup, the transparency for the brand here too. This is really interesting, and it's also given me a bit of a breakdown about why it's done what it has. What I really like about Claude doing an interactive mock-up like this is that I can scroll up here, I can click on these three dots and download this as a HTML file to view on my computer or even send to a designer or developer if I needed to. Let's try taking this a bit further then. Why don't I ask ChatGPT to see if it will create an interactive mockup for me and get it to add something specifically as well. So I might say, make this an interactive HTML mockup and include a banner at the top which shows whether the shop is open or closed based on the time, and hit enter. I'm going to let ChatGPT get to work there, and whilst it's doing that, I'm going to switch over to Claude and I'm going to ask Claude to do something similar. I'm just going to say add a banner at the top which shows whether the shop is open or closed based on the time, and hit enter. Let's see what happens. ChatGPT is done, so let's have a look. It says I've created the interactive HTML mockup. It's got a link there to download it, and it's told me about some of the features, and then shows me a preview right inside the chat. There's the banner at the top that says we're currently closed. You can see this, though, now that it's interactive HTML, is a lot more simple than the Claude interactive mockup. And I think for coding with ChatGPT, probably using Codex on your local computer is going to be a better option to get a much more detailed or designed end result. And if we switch over to Claude, let's see if Claude has made the update that we asked for. There we go, to use the same mockup here, and it's added this banner. Again, I just think in general, the mockups that Claude is able to create, even on the free version in chat here, without doing any additional thinking with the model, is really good. Like, this is genuinely a website that I could imagine being created. The results are going to vary based on the amount of context and detail you provide in the prompt, so it's just about choosing what you think is personally best. So we've looked at writing, and you just saw how coding capabilities could be helpful for a small business owner or anyone looking to create a quick website. But one of the most powerful things you can do is connect these AI tools to third-party apps that you use, like Jotform. Now, in ChatGPT, these are called apps. So in the menu bar, I can go to the apps option here. That will take me to their app store, and then I can just search for the apps that I want, like Jotform, like this. And then click on the app, it will show me some details, and I can add that app, it will authenticate, and then I can simply start a chat with that app. In the bottom of the prompt box here, we can see it says Jotform. Even if you don't select it, ChatGPT should understand the context of your ask and go and pull the app that's required for it anyway. In Claude, it's similar. These tools are called connectors. So in the menu, I can go and choose Customize, and on this screen, choose Connect Your Apps. Again, it pops up their app store. I can search for those connectors like this. So let's search for Jotform, and I can make sure that Jotform is added like so. And in a new chat, I can click on the plus button here, and I can make sure that under connectors, that Jotform is enabled. Again, based on the prompt that you put in, Claude should understand the context of what you're asking for and go and pull in the right tool to help with the work. This coffee shop is a new business, so I'm going to prompt by asking for a customer feedback form for a small coffee shop and ask it to include name, email, satisfaction, favorite drink, and comments. Put that in both of them here and send that prompt. And what we should see is both of them will go and pull in Jotform to help actually create that form for me, saving me the time it would normally have taken to separately go to that. I wouldn't even need to switch tabs, but can still access those tools that I find most helpful. And we can see that Claude gets to work with Jotform straight away to build it, whereas ChatGPT asks for permission first. So I'm going to click Create Form over there. Whilst that's working, let's have a quick look at this form that Claude has created on the right-hand side here. It says, we'd love your feedback. It's got full name on here, email address, and the other questions underneath. It gives me the link to go and check out this form in Jotform. I can even click the Edit button to go and make those edits to that form myself as well. And similarly, on the left-hand side now, we can see ChatGPT has gone and used Jotform to create it too. It's created this form with name, email, the satisfaction score here, and again has given me a link to it or that button to edit in Jotform. Now I'm going to click on the link here to see the form that Claude has created. And you can see it's made something that's quite colorful. It's designed it. It's used this brown color, has given a design to the text boxes and so on like this. And if I go back, we can also look at the one that ChatGPT created by opening the link here. And it's using the default theme in Jotform here. Now, it's not just creating forms that these connectors can help with. For example, I could go to ChatGPT now and say something like, change the background to a coffee brown color like this. And it's going to get to work doing that. Or in Claude, I could even ask some questions about the results. So I could ask something like, what's the average overall satisfaction score? And when I submit this, it will go and speak to Jotform and look at the results and analyze that. At the same time, ChatGPT is going to go and edit this form to change those colors as I asked. So Claude has come back telling me the average satisfaction score is 4.33 out of 5. So that has done all of the work for me, whereas normally I would need to go and look at those responses, maybe even write a formula in a spreadsheet to do that. It's already gone and done that work. And over here in ChatGPT, let's go back to the tab that we opened that form in and give it a refresh to see how it looks different now. There we go. It's changed the background color to brown as I asked. So if it usually takes you too long to do things like create forms like this, you can just ask for whatever you need inside the generative AI app that you're already using connectors like the Jotform connector, asking for results, updating the design, adding questions, removing them, and so on. And you could even set up routines so it gives you those updates on an ongoing basis, perhaps each day when you log in if you've got lots of customers filling this out and you want to act on their feedback. We've looked at writing, coding, and third-party apps in detail, but there are other things that these tools can help with. Image generation is one that comes up often, and ChatGPT offers image generation, as we saw earlier with the mock-up of the website, whilst Claude doesn't. So if you're doing things that are much more visual and you want graphics created for you, ChatGPT is your option from these two. If I click on the menu icon for both of these as well, you'll see that they both support projects. In ChatGPT, I click on the projects button, and this allows me to group chats about the same pieces of work that I'm working on. I could give it artifacts or memory about those different projects to help it remember what we've worked on and keep things consistent as we work on a particular project. Similarly, in Claude, they have a feature called Projects 2, works in a very similar way where I can group different chats and artifacts together, give it memory across those conversations, and even specific instructions for how to work on that project specifically. I think both ChatGPT and Claude have their own personalities in terms of the tone of the answers that you get. It really does come down to personal preference, and you've seen some of that in the examples today. I recommend trying them both out and then seeing what fits best for you, based on doing the least amount of work to save you the time of having to write really long prompts every time. In terms of speed, I don't think there's lots in it, but ChatGPT on the free plan seems to run a bit faster than the Sonnet model in Claude. And if you're using these on a consistent basis, you're probably going to upgrade to a paid subscription at some point. So it's worth looking at the pricing. Both offer a free plan that will get you so far, that will have limits that you might meet, and then you need to come back the next day to complete work. ChatGPT does offer a slightly cheaper option than Claude right now, but this is going to vary over time, so you want to check this before you go and try these tools for yourself. Based on everything we've seen today, I would probably choose Claude because I think it did the better job with the website mockup, But I really recommend trying both of these tools because it isn't as clear cut as that. They will excel at some tasks compared to the other, and also when new models are released, the capabilities change between them too. Whatever tool you're using, I think it's particularly powerful when you connect them with third-party tools like Jotform, so they can do that work for you that would have required more of your time and manual work to do. Or maybe if you're just not confident with technology more broadly, being able just to type and ask for what you need is a lot easier than figuring out every single tool you might want to use across the internet. I hope this video was helpful. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if it was. If you've got any questions, you can leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.